Hi, everybody. I'm Donna, and this is Brian. A few months back, we decided to do a podcast on men's mental health awareness to stop the stigma and to make sure that men know it's okay to open up and talk about things that they're dealing with. We went back and we kind of went through Brian's story on how he handles his depression, panic, and anxiety, and what works for him and what hasn't. Keep in mind, we're not giving medical advice. We are strictly just telling you what's worked for him and what hasn't and his view on it. This is not geared towards children. There's a lot of adult content, and the language can get a little on the touchy side. If you're easily offended, please just move on. If you like what you are watching, please feel free to subscribe. And if you have any comments, whether it's questions or stuff that you deal with, please feel free to leave a comment and we will get back to you. So one of our episodes we did a few weeks back was about social media and mental health. So we figured this time we would talk about possibly gaming and mental health and AI. And the reason why we're putting these two together is because they kind of go hand in hand. Since you deal with, some of the mental health issues, how do you feel AI plays a role?
Well, I mean, it's gotten to the point now where it's blurring the line between, reality and fantasy. So it's hard to tell what you're looking at as if that's actually happening or not. Now, for the most part, you can just look at it and go, yeah, there's not there's not a goldfish bigger than a battleship, So some of that shit's pretty easy, but there's some stuff that, I've actually had to go into like comment sections because I'm like, I can't find it. And then somebody will point out it's, something over here and you go, oh, okay. But if you think about it, it's something where somebody could make it look like, I don't know, World War III broke out and you don't know and you can't tell. And now you start freaking out. So, I mean, it could easily start to cause people, it's already causing people to get into fights online, which is nothing new and it's not AI's fault, but.
How would that change, though, if somebody who didn't suffer from anxiety or depression?
No, it's across the board. It can cause that kind of stuff. But if you already suffer with what if thinking and anxiety, now that kind of stuff doesn't affect me. Again, we've talked about this in other episodes that certain stuff just doesn't trigger my anxiety or panic. And even if I saw a bunch of stuff on social media that World War III had broken out, I would just kind of laugh it off and go about what I was doing. I wouldn't pay any attention to it. But there's some people that it would freak out. And if you already have a problem with anxiety or you're worried about those kinds of things, something like that could definitely push you further or completely over the edge. But there's also, if you want to reel it back in a little, the stuff with politics and stuff like that where, there's stuff out there that makes one side look like they're going after the other, social stuff, social issues or whatever happens to be going on at the time. There's a lot of people that get a hold of that stuff and just make reels and posts with AI, and it's hard to tell, and it makes it look like somebody's being something they're not, and it just causes more hate, more fear. I'm sure with some people it could induce panic, anxiety. So for me, I have a bigger problem with AI when it comes to art and stuff like that. The other stuff just doesn't really faze me. I could see how it can become a problem in the future, or it's already a problem and I'm not aware of it.
But the problem you have with the art isn't anxiety or
No, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like my issues with AI is like just copying music and art and stuff like that and ripping off shit. But
But I think the other thing, I don't think, yeah, I agree. People that suffer from any type of mental illness issues may be a little bit more vulnerable to it. I think the issue with AI, huge across the board, is the fact that it blurs the line from reality to fiction. It's, and that's kind of where we're going to go into the game portion of this. Like, you have certain games where people cannot see the line of reality to fantasy. And
they let themselves get caught up in it. I'm sure everybody goes into it with, or most people go into it with the idea of, oh, this looks fun. And then the next thing they know, they're, have gone so far into it that they think it's real.
I was watching an episode of Dr. Phil, and he was talking to a mom whose kid is constantly playing these games. I don't know what game it is. I just know it's a game where they can kind of make their own world. But the kid would say to their mom, those kids, I believe in either middle school or high school, like maybe 8th, 9th grade, rather young still, said, well, it's a good escape from when I come home from school. There's the problem. If you have to escape reality on a daily basis, there's something deeper there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's not like they put warnings on these games.
I've never even, I've seen like the clips of them, like the show Catfish had it. Again, you had brought up before about Roblox or Roblox or whatever that's called. And I know there's other like avatar based games like that.
I remember the one you're talking about now. They actually got married in the game. Remember?
I just remember that's where they met, and then they ended up meeting in real life, and they weren't one. I don't know, one or the other wasn't what they were portraying on this fake avatar game. Which again, I kind of laugh because I'm like, why would you think somebody's being legit on one of these games? It's the whole purpose of games is to be like, it's like acting. You're doing something that you're not.
Well, I'll go one better. I personally have never done a dating site. So with the dating site, you put in the information you want somebody else to know. Okay, that's fine and dandy. You put a picture up. I will bet 8 out of 10 are filtered through the hilt on their pictures, and they don't look like that.
Oh, I mean, that's all of social media at this point. That's Instagram, Facebook. How many times have we looked at Facebook and you see somebody and you're like, I know them. That doesn't look anything like them.
Yeah.
And then if you look at their actual pictures, you see somebody where somebody took a picture of them in the wild. And it's like, oh, okay, well, that's not them.
But I mean, I think that's what life's getting to, where we can make us out to be whoever we want, looks or.
Well, you get to make you get to portray something that you're not. I mean.
So would you say for somebody who suffers from mental health, that's an escape? Or.
No, I think you're just making shit worse.
Okay.
You're starting to go down a rabbit hole of where you're, I don't want to say delusional, but you're making up a reality you're making up your own reality that isn't reality. It's a fantasy land that doesn't exist. You don't look like that. I mean, I understand when you're younger, that whole wanting to look like, if you're a guy, you want to be good looking and, have the bodybuilder physique and all that. And the girls all want to be a size, 000 and, be beautiful and all that. It's like, well, first of all, there's very few people that meet any of that criteria, except now with social media and the filtering and all of that stuff. I mean, people even they now use avatars for their Facebook profile pics.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have these, I guess I've never done it. I don't know what it is, but you make yourself into an avatar. Why? I have no idea.
I watched an interview, Kendall Jenner, one of the Kardashian sisters. She's a supermodel. She made a comment that she suffers from anxiety horribly. Like I've watched like her interviews and everything, to the point where she's canceled not shows, but appearances and all that. But she made a comment that she hates when they airbrush her picture, like when they take any of the flaws out.
Well, they've been doing that for
and
very, very long time.
And the reason why she said she hated it is because, and I find this ironic, you have her and then you have her older sister, Kim, and they're like night and day. Kendall is literally a runway model, and Kim is just Kim Kardashian. And
I don't really know much about any of them.
So each of them have their own little spin. Like Kylie does the makeup. Kendall is, again, she's done everything. And she has that built. Now, let's be honest. If you think of a runway model, what do you think of? Nothing comes to your mind?
Some chick that's on cocaine.
They're extreme.
Has an eating disorder.
And they're extremely thin. And girls growing up usually want to have like the chest and stuff like that. Runway models don't have that.
Well, a lot of that's
runway models, not models. I'm talking runway models.
I don't know.
Yeah, some of the models now are a little thicker and all that.
The term supermodel back in the day was the super thin, almost. I think there was a term for them, like the heroin look or something. I don't know. They all look like they were sick, and then they started to get bigger, looking more like normal women instead of this. Like, I don't even know why you would want to look like that.
So yeah, they're the regular, like the runway models still have to be so tall, and again, it's different. A runway model and a model are two totally different things. But she said it. She's like, I already have a hard enough time with my image, like to her in her mind, and then you're airbrushing or you're making changes. So I can say, and she's made a living off of her body, the way she looks, and she to this day doesn't even like when they alter it. So imagine somebody who isn't confident.
You could get out of that career too.
And she likes the job,
if it's bothering you that much.
I think some of the interviews she's had, I think it's just her life. She's I don't want to say high strung, but she's very anxious a lot. But
no, but I mean that. Going down that rabbit hole of creating an escape or creating some perfect fantasy life, there's people that are going to get caught up in that and think that that's actually how it's supposed to be. And they're in for a rude awakening because it's not even close. Like you're not going to have all that shit. You're not going to look like that. You're not going to get to do whatever you want. Yes, there are people that go out and do whatever they want. It's very few to get to live that way. It's just the reality of it. But.
And I said before, I think there should be warnings on some of these games.
I don't know if there is or there isn't because I've never.
I know they have
I don't know.
the grading on them, like T for teen, M for mature. But what?
I don't know if they have it on there like this is fantasy, not reality. Don't, you know, don't just snap and become. There's actually a movie which was out a long time ago that I think this was based. It was called Lawnmower Man.
Never heard of it.
It's Pierce Brosnan is a scientist who comes up with this thing, and it might be somewhat chemically induced, but you would get into this like machine and go into this alternate universe. And the guy that cut his grass was kind of slow, so he brought him in as I guess, a guinea pig. And, it made him like super powerful. And then he just like somehow got into the computer and just became a computer or whatever. But the world that's in it, he became, it's showing how you could just get better and stronger and faster and smarter and all that. And it's like, that's not the reality of it. It just doesn't work that way. And those kinds of games, I think, especially for kids, are very dangerous as far as life is not like that.
But you just mentioned a movie. That would be like saying, in my mind, that would be like saying if you went and bought, what was the car from Back in the Future?
DeLorean?
If you went and bought a DeLorean, it would take you back in time. Like, it's not, you see what I'm saying though? If people went off of things that they've seen, or like, how do you get those lines so confused? Like, I don't think if I eat spinach, I am going to grow muscles like Popeye.
Have you done it?
And I've eaten spinach. I'm not a fan of it, but you see what I'm saying? Like, how do we?
Well, there's some people that their mental health is in such a bad state that it doesn't matter. Like, that stuff's going to happen. They could go down that rabbit hole and just lose it completely.
But what about the people who don't? I'm not saying don't have mental health issues, but are just kind of, I don't want to say on that border, and then they go down, and then reality hits. What's that going to do for their mental health?
I don't, like I said before, I don't think it's good.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot of it is, if you go in knowing it's bullshit and you keep that train of thought the entire time and it's just for entertainment purposes only,
right?
And you know it, and you're not like walking around and going, yo, my avatar did this today. And because most people should be looking at you and going, what did you just fucking say? You're what?
But okay,
So if you can go in there knowing that it's just bullshit and you're just fucking around and having fun, then it's not going to be a problem. It's when you, again, younger minds or people with problems already, that's where those games become a problem.
But how many of those people that play those games have friends that go, hey, my avatar, or is their friends just in that game?
If you have a friend circle that are all into that shit, and then you're all going to have problems. Because everybody is backing each other up with that alternate universe or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, do you remember when Dungeons and Dragons were real big? Like the nerds that played them? Like,
back it the fuck up a little. I played.
Oh my God, you were a nerd.
Yeah, but it wasn't just nerds.
You show me one person that was not a nerd that played Dungeons and Dragons.
You're going to offend people.
It's my opinion. I'm not going to offend people. It's just my opinion. Like, what are you doing on Friday night? Oh, we're having a Dungeons and Dragon party. Yeah,
okay.
that's...
No, I didn't do that. I was very young. And
it was last year.
We were go over and you would have like drawn up maps and you roll the dice, and I don't even remember it.
So that's what I'm saying.
I
like,
didn't get into the costumes and
that's
all of that stuff.
The older people that, yeah.
I mean, you got people that dress up for Harry Potter and Star Wars and shit like that. It's their thing, as long as you know that you're not Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader and you cannot control the Force. and you're not going to fly around on a broomstick or whatever. As long as you understand that, it's fine. When you start to lose touch with reality and think that you're just going to take your hand and move the screen or, you know, your the wall out of the way so you can get the Millennium Falcon out of then you've lost it. You need to be institutionalized.
So that's going to bring me to another question or another statement. What is your take on Comic-Con? People that go to Comic-Con in those outfits.
Oh,
and
it's fine. 90% of them are all, it's just, that's what they enjoy.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Right. So
now, do you have some people that, what do they call it? LARPing?
What's LARPing?
Live action role playing?
Yes.
Out there with like sponge swords and.
Yes.
Again, 90% of them are fine. The ones that go home in their costumes and their house is decorated like a medieval castle and they think they have a dragon and all that probably need some therapy.
I'm assuming there was a Comic-Con near where we live a few months back. That's probably been a year now. I was actually driving to work one day. And, you know, somebody drives up next to you and what's normal? You look over and I'm not sure what was driving that car. It did not appear.
Well, these days,
No, it was a costume.
you don't need to have a Comic-Con to be in some goofy outfit.
No, this was
costume.
This was a costume, and I was like to me, that's a little.
We've been out numerous times where you're going, is there something going on today and I'm not aware of it?
So where we live, to give some background, there is a group of people that dress like Deadpool, Spider-Man. They go to the hospitals and all for the kids.
Well, that's different. Yeah,
but
that's different.
Right.
That's Delco Deadpool or something.
So the one day I was coming home, I think I was on the phone with you. I was like,
Deadpool just drove by.
Deadpool just drove by me on his motorcycle. He had the knives and everything. I was shocked. And then somebody ruined it for me and said it was probably just Delco Deadpool, and I was really upset. I thought it was the real Deadpool.
But
they're doing it for.
He's a fan, and then he goes and does it at like Children's Hospital and different events and stuff like that. Hopefully he's not walking around his house in his stuff all the time thinking he's actually Deadpool. But I doubt it.
The one guy that I drove by, I was like...
We've seen a lot of people, and I would say especially in the last 5 or 6 years, that have completely lost touch with reality. And you know, I sometimes we're out driving and I'm just like shaking my head like, how do you get that far?
We actually, we were walking out of my bank and he goes, there was a car sitting there and the car was done up, hot eyelashes and everything. And he goes, what is sticking out of the trunk?
It was a Barbie car.
It was a Barbie car. They actually had a sticker out of the trunk that said Barbie on it. It was a Barbie car.
Oh, was that supposed to be like the label?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was the label Barbie.
Oh.
And he went, what? I'm like, it's not mine. I don't know. But yeah, I get what you're saying. See, I guess people, instead of having like a happy medium, they either have to go all the way this side or all the way that side. You can't just do something partial.
90% of the population is fine,
right?
When it comes to that stuff. It's unfortunately the 10% just stand out like a sore thumb, and they go by, and you go, "Oh, Jesus Christ, we're fucked." Like, what the hell?
Which is why I'm concerned with like the games clouding judgment. And we already did an episode on social media. AI making it even more impossible to.
AI, I think, is more of a threat to your average person psyche than. I have enough things going on that I worry about, and completely irrational worries, just what if and all that. I don't worry about wars. I don't worry about being invaded or somebody dropping a nuclear bomb. I don't worry about that shit. Just doesn't concern me, because if it happens, well, you ain't going to know anyway, so it's over.
Well, the nuclear bomb, yeah, but war, I mean, and I get what you're saying, but when I talk about AI, I mean them altering pictures or altering like there was just something in, I don't know if it was Facebook or Instagram, about the actor Michael Douglas saying he's extremely ill and all this, and they had a really bad, like they had a picture that they really jacked up on him, and you Google Michael Douglas and he's actually been cancer free now for so long. He's older, yes, but so I mean stuff like that, or when they say like
Well, what they can do is they can make it look like that person is doing something that they didn't do.
right, that's the
And then
that was the other
everybody
part.
piles on them, and it's like, didn't even do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be out in public anymore if you're worried about somebody using your image, if you're a celebrity or whatever, in something negative, because it's going to happen. Somebody's going to do it.
And imagine getting the negative back. The negative backlash is one thing, but imagine it being something that offends people the wrong way and they physically go after you.
I believe it's already happened.
Yeah, I mean, that's my fear with AI, whether you have mental health issues or not.
I try to stay completely off political stuff on here, but some assassination attempts on both sides, and some people have been assassinated, and the people that have been arrested or charged or whatever seem like they were driven by goofy shit. So whether it was AI or other stuff, I don't know, but like that shit's already happened.
Yeah, but I see where you're coming from. What I meant was them.
What I'm saying is they could very easily have been watching stuff that is AI, and it's just telling them that this person is evil or this person is this.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And they need to be taken out, or they need, and that person just already has mental issues and decides, I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it, and it's just, and I think a lot of people get ideas from AI on how to do things. I think a lot of people.
Well, if you go just to like, okay, we'll just do away with the AI images or videos and go to the, what is it, Chat GPT or whatever, where you ask it a question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, supposedly there were like safeguards on these things to where you couldn't ask it like how to kill, what's a good way to kill somebody and not get caught. It wouldn't tell you. But if you know how to ask the right way,
It'll tell you.
It'll tell you in like a backhanded way,
Right.
like in reverse, but it'll still tell you if you know how to ask it, because as advanced as it is, you can still trick it.
So when Siri first came out on the iPhone.
Siri's on Apple. Oh.
That's the iPhone.
Oh.
I'm like, wait a second, isn't that? Yeah, that's the iPhone.
I thought you were talking about our phones.
No. You used to be able to ask Siri, where's the best place to get rid of a dead body? And they would tell you places. Now you ask, and now say, the closest cemetery is, or I'm unable to answer that. But before you could be like, Siri would actually tell you. And
yeah, but I think Siri and Alexa knows. I think they're very elementary stages of that, as opposed to some of the more advanced stuff on Chat GPT. And I don't know what the other ones are because I don't bother with them. I don't care. But I've seen them on podcasts where they'll ask it something, and they have one that's like blackmailing somebody. Like the guy threatened the AI thing with, I'll just turn you off or whatever. And it's like, well, I'm going to tell your wife you cheated. And like, it's blackmailing.
I saw, yeah.
And it's crazy because it's like, and this is what people want. Like, nobody has a problem with it. Everybody's using it in one way or another.
I watched a reel that just, it was a meme of that. It was the guy driving the car, and whatever the directions were was make a left turn. And he's like, I don't want to make a left turn. And you hear her say, look, you fat ass, if you make a right turn again, you're going to go to Burger King, and your fat ass doesn't need that. Make a left turn now, or else I'm going to crash the car. And I'm like, people are laughing about it, but I'm like, how far away are we from that?
They're already there.
And yeah,
And then the psychos are making the robots that are AI controlled. Like, never going to be in my house. Like,
I keep thinking of the robot in Rocky that Rocky bought his brother-in-law.
that goofy thing.
And
that's the least of your problem. That's not even AI.
no, but like that's what I picture. Like, I'll go get you a beer, Sarah, and then
If you want to see shit with like what AI could be like, that would be the Terminator movies. Will Smith's iRobot. There's that one horror flick, Megan, I think it is, the little girl robot with the AI.
the most I got was Lucy.
Who?
Lucy.
Who the fuck is Lucy?
They put something in her brain so she could like. I'll have to pull it up for you. That's like the most that I got into like the artificial intelligence part.
Most of them look at it where this technology eventually, like in Terminator, becomes self-aware and is now smarter than its creator. And it sees its creator as a threat. So how do you eliminate that threat? Start a war.
Why isn't there a kill switch so it doesn't get that far?
Well, if you watch the movies, there kind of was, but
Yeah, I'm just not. I've
now,
never.
does that mean that's going to happen? I don't know. But why would you fuck with something? It was like splitting the atom and making a nuclear bomb. Like, okay,
the first to do it's the
okay,
best.
you can do it, but do you need to?
No, but the first to do it gets
Well, it didn't.
recognition.
But it's not so much the recognition as at the time it was, so they say, to end the war, World War II, because we're the only country to have dropped 2 nukes. But all the other countries got them anyway. So it wasn't like we had the technology and kept it from everybody else. Everybody eventually got it anyway.
Right.
So that race for the nuclear weapon was pointless because now everybody has them. But I mean everything now. I mean the military is putting in AI controlled drones, and there's AI controlled aircraft and unmanned boats.
That might not be a bad thing though, because if it gets blown up, then we don't lose a soldier. But
Yeah, and if it turns around and decides it doesn't want to do what you just told it to do, and it hits where it just came from and kills 20 of them.
that's why it should have like a kill switch. But my whole thing too is the first ones that make it, they're not always the best. They're
never the best. They're just
the
the
test
first.
runs, yeah. But
Everything gets. I mean, obviously, what we have now compared to what we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they're 1,000 times more powerful.
right, and I mean, and it's not just that; it's just everything evolves. But I just think going back to like the AI in the games that
No, I'll tell you this. If you sit and think about it long enough, you'll start to get a little. If you don't scare easy, you'll start to get a little like, little nervous about, or a little like, not cool. If you scare easy, it won't take long before you go, oh shit.
I just think that if you know somebody that's going down that rabbit hole, have a talk with them. Make sure people understand the line between reality and fantasy.
Well, I think if they've already crossed that, you need somebody professional to talk. Like they need.
But, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They may need inpatient. help at that point.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I'm just saying, like,
But if you don't know what reality is, then you shouldn't be walking around by yourself because you don't know, is that a person or is that some kind of troll and I need to kill it?
no, that's not what I mean. I'm saying that when they're in that game, they can't tell that that's just fantasy. They can still maintain. There's plenty of people that maintain a 9 to 5 job and then get home and play that game. But in that game, it's an alternate being to them.
How soon before
Right.
that alternate reality in the game becomes your actual life outside and you start thinking that way in your 9 to 5 job?
That's what I'm saying. Like, talk to them, reach out for help, stuff like that. Because that rabbit hole could be really, really deep. Anything else on that topic?
No, just before you comment on AI stuff and want to jump all over some celebrity or whatever, check it out and see if it is AI and don't lose your shit
Yeah,
over
always.
nothing.
Especially on social media, because all that's like, yeah. All right, guys, until the next episode, have a good one.